Hey you guys, I just want to welcome you to our first lesson of our beauty school. So, today's lesson we're going to be talking about just the base of your face, okay? So, when you start to apply makeup, the first thing you want to make sure is your face is completely clean, okay? All that I've done with my face today is I have used, when I was in the shower this morning, I used our Pore Purifying Cleanser to wash everything out of it. So my face is perfectly clean and ready for my application. So when we start with our makeup, the first thing you need to be using is a good primer. If you don't already use a primer, there are several benefits to using one. I highly recommend it. First and foremost, it's going to help your makeup stay on all day long. So when you apply primer, it's going to fill in those fine lines, those wrinkles, those deep pores you might have. So your makeup's going to have a much smoother application. You're not going to have like the dimples in it from your pores when using a primer, and it's going to make your makeup last longer. So if you ever are halfway through the day and you're like, oh my gosh, my makeup just does not look like it's staying on, it's probably because you're not using a good primer or not using one at all. Primer, you don't need a lot of it. That's how much I use for my whole face. It's about the size of a pea. And you just want to make sure that you spread it evenly over your entire face, down into your jawline. Anywhere that your makeup is going to be going, you want this primer to be at. Now, for my girls that have more oily skin, who are thinking, no, I'm not applying any of that to my face because my face is oily. I have really oily skin. This is not going to make your face any more oily. It's actually going to help control that oil. Now, so for my girls with dry skin, before you apply your primer, you want to apply a good moisturizer. We have what's called our Divine Daily Moisturizer. It is excellent. It no longer comes in this packaging, but it is the exact same product. It's been a long time since I've needed to order, since I don't have dry skin. I don't use it as often. I use it on my elbows, and sometimes when I get dry patches in random spots, I'll use it then. But when using the moisturizer, not a whole lot. You don't really need a whole lot either. You can use it on your hands, anything. So if you do have dry skin, you will want to apply that before you apply your primer, just to kind of help set your face up. So once you have used your primer, and knocking stuff over. So once you've used your primer, you want to let it set for just a couple minutes so it fully is ready for your makeup. So while it's setting, I'm going to show you guys two of the main products we're going to be using today for our face. And that is our liquid foundation. Right now I'm in the shade of Organza. As summer summer comes and I get tan, I will go up to possibly velour taffeta, just depending. And I'm using our Skin Perfecting Concealer in the shade of Scarlet. Scarlet is one shade below Organza and is the lightest shade we carry. I use my concealer as a highlight as well as coverage, so I like to go a shade lighter. So now I think my primer is pretty well set, so I'm going to grab my liquid foundation brush. Our liquid foundation brush is designed specifically for Younique's liquid foundation. As you can see, it's kind of more of a stipple brush. It has a flat top with a recessed area in it. This recessed area allows you to better control your coverage on how high of a coverage you want your foundation to have. The first thing you want to do when using any kind of liquid foundation, especially one with a dropper, is empty out the dropper before you mix it up, okay? So I've got my dropper emptied out, and I'm just going to mix this really well. When your liquid foundation sits, it's going to separate. So you want to make sure all that pigmentation and all the liquid are combined together so you get that nice even coverage. So you just want to fill your dropper up. And with Younique's liquid foundation, you might have seen videos on Facebook or anything that says you only need a couple drops. It's totally true. I use 5 drops for my whole face. And I just put my drops right around the edge, and I just start putting dots all over my face, okay? you don't want to just put it on there and then start going zigzagging all over your face, because your product isn't going to take you that far. Now, our product is highly pigmented, so when you do the dots everywhere, it spreads that liquid out so you can blend it better. You guys can see all those dots there. I'm going to get in here in my mirror real quick just to blend this. So I just use short little brush strokes to blend this in. Everybody has their own way of blending. This is the way I found works best to get the good coverage I need and that I want. Now, anything that you blend into your face, you also want to bring down into your jawline and your neckline. You see some girls who don't blend their makeup out and they have those dark lines on the side of their face. You don't want that. You want this to look natural and flawless, and those lines make it look neither. Okay, so now that we have our liquid foundation applied, we're going to go in with our concealer. And I actually dropped my blending bud while I was doing that. So hopefully, oh, here it is. I see it now. And I can't reach it. 1 second. Okay. So I use a Real Techniques blending bud. I bought this on Amazon. As you can see, it differs a little from a traditional blending bud that has the egg shaped with a pointed top. This also has a pointed top, but instead of an egg shaped bottom, it has a flat side. This makes blending so much easier, I promise you. So anytime you use a blending bud, it needs to be damp. So I just have a bowl of water over here that I change out every morning or every day right before I do my makeup. And I get my blending bud wet. And then you want to make sure to wring it out really well. You don't want it dripping with water. You just want it to be damp so it can blend your makeup well. Okay, so now we want to go, let me dry my hands off real quick. We want to go in with our concealer. Our concealer is highly pigmented, which means you don't need a whole lot to get the job done. I'm just going to put a little bit here on the side of my hand. And as you can see, that's not very much. It's not even a pea-sized amount. Maybe half of a pea. So I'm going to get my concealer brush. If you don't have a concealer brush, but you do have a cream shadow brush, that will also work as well. They're very similar in the way they work, but our concealer brush is a little bit longer and I think works better, but either will work if you don't have, if you can't get your hands on a concealer brush. So you just want to dab a little bit onto the end of your brush, and you want to make kind of a V shape under your eyes, okay? So what I do, if you're new to doing this, what I do is I make dots, and then you just kind of connect the dots and fill in the space in between. So if that's going to be you, you want to connect those dots. So now we have these two lines, and just fill in all the space in between those two lines and feather it out. At this point in my makeup routine, I'm not too concerned with blending right now because I will go back in and blend in a moment. So now we go on to the other eye. Same thing again, dots, and connect them. And then we fill in all the space in between. Okay, so you guys can see my concealer there. You can see how it's not blended in. So we're going to get a little more concealer on our brush, and I'm going to do this little dimple that's above your upper lip. I'm just going to put some concealer there. So that way when I go in to do my lip makeup, it's going to accent that area, and it's going to add to that flawless look with a beautiful highlight. I'm also going to put a stripe right down the center of my nose. And a few lines up here on my forehead in between my eyebrow area. Now, if you want to get intense with your highlighting, you can also do a highlight across your cheekbone on both sides. If you are going to be doing like a heavy contour and highlight, I would recommend that. I don't do it for an everyday look, just if I'm going out. So now we want to grab our beauty blender that is damp, and we're just going to start blending. So if you've never used one of these to blend, they're pretty easy to use. You just dab, okay? You get it damp and then you dab. Beauty blenders can be a girl's best friend. I'm serious, you guys. Like, they are amazing. If you don't have one, I do recommend the Real Techniques one from Amazon. Even if you do already have one, I love the way that these work. They are super soft. They come in a set of 2, so you know you have a backup if you need it. Or if you and a friend maybe want to go in together and both get one, then you can, you know, split the cost of it. They're also available with Prime, so if you have Amazon Prime, no shipping. Okay, so now you can see my face is fully blended out, and I do have like that flawless look going. So this basically concludes our first lesson of just, you know, setting your face up and starting. So keep it to, I'm crazy. Okay, keep watch. I'm going to be posting our second class here in a little bit. What we're going to be talking about next is setting your makeup, blush, and bronzer, okay? You guys don't want to miss this, because I'm also going to show you guys our awesome new brush we got. That is incredible. So I hope you guys learned something with this. If you have any questions like normal, just drop them down in the comments and I will get back to you. If you don't feel comfortable with your questions in the comments, just send me a private message. I'd be happy to talk with you one-on-one. Hope you guys have a great day, and be sure to stay tuned for our next video. Bye!